Scholastic Audio presents Karma's World, Book 2, Viral Video Showdown by Jehan Madhani, read by Grace Capeless. Go Karma! Go Karma! Go Karma! There's nothing like hearing a crowd cheering your name, especially when that crowd is made up of your best friends. Winston and Switch were my two best friends in the world, and they were cheering me on as I danced my heart out on my front stoop. I loved to rap and dance, but as much as I loved the spotlight and performing for an audience, sometimes it's even more fun to just jam with your friends, and I was feeling this beat. Karma, these moves are next level! Winston shouted over the music, waving his hands above his head like he was at a concert. Winston Torres has been my best friend since we were in diapers. He's been cheering me on since before we could even speak in full sentences. Rumor has it that "Go Karma" might have been his first words. That or "Action," since he's been directing me in his movies and music videos for just as long. I don't want to brag, but I had to admit, Winston was right. My feet had really caught this beat, and these moves were definitely next level. I smiled big back at Winston as I threw in another slide and rolled my shoulders with the music, which was also next level. This beat was bumpin'. Ooh, Switch, don't stop that beat, I called out to my other best friend, Switch. Switch Stein has been our best friend ever since she moved to Hansberry Heights with her mom at the start of this school year. We didn't even know her last year, but now me and Winston couldn't have imagined the 5th grade without her. The three of us do everything together, and we always have one another's backs. She loves music just like we do, and she is a fire music producer. In fact, she made the beat that was blasting out of the speakers on her backpack. Pretty incredible, huh? You got it, Carm! Switch smiled and increased the volume on her backpack speakers. This beat was her best one yet. I say that about all of them, but it's true. It was a fun, bouncy hip-hop beat that made you want to move your feet, and when Switch hit play, I couldn't help but start dancing. The song was like total dance magic. Switch and I first realized we loved dancing together when we auditioned for the In Step Squad, Hansberry Heights' elite dance squad. When Carrie Bautista didn't let Switch on the squad, even though she was definitely the best dancer who auditioned, I decided I didn't want to be on a team like that. Switch and I might not have made the In Step Squad, but we knew that the two of us had to keep dancing together. That's when we started our own dance crew, the Full Out Dance Crew. Our friends Megan, Mateo, Chris, and even my dog, Major, are also on the crew. And when we dance together, we dance full out. Dancing full out means you dance with your whole heart. Switch taught me that. Woohoo! Go Karma! You're dancing full out! Switch called to me from next to Winston, clapping excitedly as I jumped up and down. I grinned at her. She was right. I closed my eyes and swiveled my hips with the beat. By the time the song was over, I had made a whole dance routine. As the beat faded, I ended with a big finale and finished leaning with my arms crossed. Winston and Switch both leapt to their feet to give me a standing ovation. Like I said, they're the best. Karma, that dance was so cool! Winston tried to do the slide I did during the chorus, wiggling his arms. He's not very good at dancing, but he totally tries. You know, I think it might be the best dance I've ever made, but I couldn't have done it without that beat. It was totally poppin', Switch. It really made me want to move. It was like total dance magic. Switch blushed. Thanks, Carm. I loved your dance. I gotta try some of those moves. Will you teach me? Switch asked as she started to do the arm motion from the end of my dance. Of course. But you can't learn it down there. Get up here. I ran over and held out my hand to Switch, pulling her up to stand next to me on the stoop. Dancing with Switch was pretty high on my list of favorite things to do ever, so of course I was going to show her how to do my new dance. Winston hit play on the backpack speakers, and Switch and I stood side by side.